In this video, we're gonna be taking a look at the Heimplanet Transit Line Travel Pack. I'm Tom, the founder of Pack Hacker, and we do bag reviews like this all the time, as well as other gear reviews on this channel. So if you're new here, consider subscribing. Let's jump right into the Heimplanet Transit Travel Pack review, the latest Kickstarter from this brand. At the time of this review, the Heimplanet Transit Travel Pack comes in one color, Castle Rock Gray. This is a heathered gray color, and two main fabrics make up the exterior of this pack. Heimplanet calls it Dico Shell fabric. It's a blend of 800D nylon and 660D polypropylene. Definitely some durable materials going on here, wrapping this thing up. It's called Dico Shell because they dope dye their fabric, which is a more sustainable way to color fabric than traditional methods. This material does pick up some dust though, which we've found to be apparent in a lot of other packs with fabric weaves that are a little bit wider. At the time of shooting this review, we have a poll over on our Instagram about whether or not folks like the look of this pack. So if you want to get involved with that for next time, head over and follow Pack Hacker on Instagram. To add to the long list of materials that show up on this bag, we have Heimplanet, which is a rubbery type of material that's going to be used on some of the attachment points. We have durable YKK zippers throughout in a couple different sizes, which we'll get into in a second. Polyester lining that has a type of pattern on it, very branded to Heimplanet, that's reminiscent of their tent designs. And also aluminum hardware in some areas, which is a refreshing change from a lot of the plastic that we see across other packs. All of these materials come together and create a great package that is the Heimplanet Transit Travel Pack. To kick off the external components of this bag, we have a perfectly padded top handle as well as a handle on the side. And the thing that I like about these is that they're the same fabric as the bag, so they kind of blend in. They're not super padded, creating a bulky look, so they kind of blend in when you're not using them. However, they're padded enough so that when you're grabbing this, even when there's a lot of weight inside of this pack, it feels really nice to grab. It doesn't cut into your hand. There's an elastic stretch pocket that's gonna be good for larger water bottles or an umbrella if you'd like. Arguably, I wish there was a little more stretch in the top of this thing, but it fits a lot of different size water bottles pretty well. There are two permanent compression straps at the bottom of each side of this pack. That's gonna be good because it doesn't cover up the zipper of that main clamshell, obstructing you being able to open the entire thing. Also, with the Heimplanet attachment system here, there's an option for additional compression straps that you can put on the top. So this is nice to, one, compress the bag a little bit more. Two, you can stuff in, say, like a tent on the side here. I know Heimplanet has this in one of their videos, a jacket, or maybe even a tripod. If you trickily use the elastic pocket here, you can kind of get a tripod sticking in the side there. So that's a nice option to have. I believe these straps are sold separately, but they're pretty nifty for a couple reasons. You can also attach these straps horizontally on the front of the pack, so then you have another system where you can hold an object of different size flat against the front of your pack. The modularity here is great, and Heimplanet gives you the option to utilize these as you see fit, so you're not gonna have a bunch of extra straps laying around that you don't use. Speaking of straps laying around, every strap on this pack, including the harness system, comes with some kind of elastic or plastic keeper that allows you to have a dangle-free experience when you're using your pack. All right, moving on to the harness system, there is a lot to say here. So starting with the straps, we have some very densely padded EVA foam, and although they look thin, the foam is very dense, so it's a very comfortable carry. We have these load lifters at the top. For some reason, Heimplanet has called them load shifters. Not really sure why. But again, a couple different places to hold that strap into place. So you have this elastic keeper, and then you have this Heimplanet loop right here, which you can hold that extra strap in. Nice subtle Heimplanet branding here as well. So moving on to that Heimplanet attachment system, I did find one issue with it. I shared this video in the Perfect Pack Facebook group. So one of the habits that I have in wearing a bag like this with sternum straps on is I like to kind of rest my arm. So I'll grab the sternum strap here and sort of rest my arm. And the thing that happened when I did that was that it just pulled off. So even with like a light pull, you can actually get this thing to come off. So it's not quite as permanent as I'd like to see. Maurice from Heimplanet responded right away, acknowledging the issue, and since this pack is pre-production and currently still a Kickstarter, he said that he would update the design to accommodate for this. So basically what the issue is that with this Heimplanet loop system, when it goes around a curve, you get a little extra space happening, and they didn't necessarily account for that. So what they're gonna do is tighten this up a little bit more and then have that aluminum fit in here a little bit better. We really hope they update it. Maurice has given us his word. Hopefully we can trust him to push that through with Heimplanet and make this even better for when they actually start sending this bag out to their backers. Personally, we have mixed feelings about the Heimplanet loop system. On one hand, it's kind of hard to get used to and a tad bit clunky, but on the other hand, it's somewhat slick, and we really think it's pushing an innovation in the backpack industry, which is always great to see from brands. Rounding out the features on the strap system, we have some additional strap hiding and strap management plastic loops going on here, which is really great. Again, Heimplanet just wants to make sure that none of these straps are dangling around whatsoever. Also, there's a padded back panel and a nice pass-through system for a roller luggage handle. This doubles as a feature you can use to hide these straps away as well, so you get rid of even more of those dangling straps. And we also have a hip belt, which is actually more like a waist strap. So it doesn't really have a lot of padding on it. I don't think, as I've been testing it, it doesn't really distribute a ton of weight, but it does hold the bag closer to your body. And you can easily hide it by taking it off at the aluminum attachment points or just tightening it up and then managing those straps with the elastic keepers. Now, with a hip belt like this and a 34-liter pack, do you really need it for this size of a bag? That's gonna depend on you, your body frame, and the amount of heavy gear that you have to carry inside of this thing. So that's sort of a personal preference, but just note that this isn't gonna distribute a ton of weight off of your shoulders, and it doesn't really anchor properly like, say, a hiking bag would. It's more there just to kind of keep it a little closer to your back and distribute a little bit of weight. Although we have a couple gripes with this harness system, overall it provides a really good carry and is close to a home run in our book. Starting with the quick access pocket at the top of the pack, this is gonna be good for just stuffing things into as you're, popping through security, your phone, your passport, anything you wanna just toss in there for quick access. It's important to note that this is a YKK number 5 racket coil zipper, and racket coil is the zipper of choice on bags like this, especially when the zipper attachment is so important. Very strong zipper from YKK. All the zippers on here are weather resistant as well. So there's a number 5 up here, number 8 on the secondary compartment, and a number 10, which is a massive zip on this main clamshell. We'll get to all these inner compartments in a minute. Also, each zipper has a nice thin paracord shrunk zipper pull, so you can easily access these zippers. On the front, there is a side access pocket as well, and that's gonna be really great to just quickly flip this bag around and you can access it from the side. Moving on to the main clamshell opening of this pack, this thing basically opens up completely flat. The one thing Heimplanet could have added here is the ability to lock these zippers. So on bags like the Tortuga Set Out, Manal Carry-On 2.0, you're gonna have that option to lock your zippers. Starting with the back panel, there's a nicely padded laptop compartment going on here with some nice felt-like fabric on the inside, Velcroable as well. So your laptop, when it's in there, is gonna be nice and secure. And then there's another secondary pocket here that's gonna be good for tablets. One side is stretchy mesh material like we see on the outside where the water bottle pocket is. And then we've got that same felt-like material here. Again, that nicely patterned branding here for Heimplanet that again, I think is just basically coming from the design of their tents or inspired by it. And then we've got a little bit of an organizer system down here. So 2 stretchy mesh pockets on each side, and then 2 pen, pencil, or stylus pockets in the middle. I kind of like that Heimplanet decided to put all this organization here instead of in the front like you see on a lot of other packs, but you just gotta make sure to open this thing all the way up to access it. Then moving on to the other side of the pack here, there's some other really great organization going on here. So you have this meshy like 3D pockets going on here. There are 2 sizes of this pocket, a larger one on top and a smaller one at the bottom, marked by this seam here, which kind of keeps everything nice and tight. And as things go up and down, there's a bit of elastic on the outside, and then this polyester liner gets folded over, allowing you to get a little bit more capacity on this side of the pack. But again, it doesn't cut into the size of the 3D pockets. This offers some great organization, and we're really excited about that feature. And now we're gonna get into that main compartment. So it's actually accessible directly from this side. Basically, you have a giant bucket to fit everything in. Packing cubes, we always recommend those. Those are great. And the really great thing about this system, and if you strategically pack it, is that it's accessible from the front of the pack. So you have access to that main compartment via this horseshoe zip mechanism here. So let's say you're at the airport and you put your toiletries or dock kit at the top that you need to take out to go through security. You easily fold this down and open it up, pull that out without needing to open up your entire clamshell like we saw earlier and mess around with it. You just quick, boom, open this, grab it, you're good to go. And just as a note, at first when I was looking at this system, I thought it was weird because you had this gap here. But once you zip it up, this truly becomes a liter independent compartment. So I'm just gonna do that quickly now. So there you go. That polyester liner zips up and becomes a barrier. And right on the backhand side, that's where we've got those 3D pockets. At the time of this review, I've been testing this pack daily for 2 weeks, and so far, so good. Through actual testing and usage, we noticed a couple of gripes with the harness system, as well as the exterior material picking up a little bit more dust than we liked. But other than that, Heimplanet uses a bunch of quality materials and really pulls this thing together, so we're excited to see how it holds up after continued testing. So to wrap this thing up with some pros and cons, the Heimplanet features a tight, solid design. Everything comes together very well in function. Overall, well thought out components and functionality that are not only smart, but they're good in practice as well. So there's a lot of great execution, a lot of good follow through. The liter independent compartments make for easy packing and planning as well. Moving on to some of the cons, the Heimplanet attachment system is a tad clunky. The shoulder strap tightening mechanism takes a bit to get used to. And lastly, that hip belt is actually more like a waist belt that doesn't distribute a ton of weight off of your shoulders. We're really excited about this urban focus release from Heimplanet and the smart thinking that went into the design. The 34-liter size and dimensions are great for carry-on travel across the globe on different airlines, and this pack is climbing in the ranks into some of our favorite packs, despite the couple of nitpicks we've found. If Heimplanet fulfills their promise of updating the spacing on the Heimplanet system that holds the sternum strap in, it will be even better once this fully goes into production. Thanks for taking a look at our review on the Heimplanet Transit Travel Pack. Be sure to head over to packhacker.com/newsletter, sign up for that newsletter, and never miss an update. See you in the next video. Travel across the globe. Moving on to the main event of this lays fat.